Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we don't want to kill them, we just want to pet them. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
So good. So excited for tonight.
Because we are joined also by our good friend, producer and performer, Matt Acevedo is here.
Hello,
Yay.
it's so good to be here. I'm going to tell you right now, this game shall not be forgotten, but remembered.
Wow.
So I'm very excited to talk about this.
Yes, we are, of course, talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This is this is the episode which caps off. It is the end cap, the end point, the punctuation for Kirby Month. And I'm so glad that we have you here to discuss it.
Me too. I'm so happy to be here. You guys have been on quite the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. It's Mark,
Kirby Month has
how
been.
are you feeling?
I'm a little bit sad that Kirby Month is coming to a close, but like all good things, I know that it has to end because a person cannot live their life as if every month is Kirby Month. It's just too much.
Yeah, that's right. You know what good thing does not come to an end? The Sonic Forces borrowing program. If you would like to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces for the Nintendo Switch, you can get on a list. All you gotta do is email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com
and give us a mailing address. We can send you my copy of Sonic Forces. There may be a copy of Untitled Goose Game in there. Either way, you play whichever game you get for as long as you want, and then you send it back. I pay for postage both ways. It's the perfect borrowing program.
Another thing you can do is you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or heck, wherever you get your podcast.
Oh, heck.
Yeah. We appreciate it so much. It helps people find the show. Patrick and I love reading your reviews. If you leave us a review on the US Apple Podcast Store, we can see it. And so we will give you a shout out on the show. If you leave us a review anywhere else, we can't see it, but we appreciate it just as much. Hit us up on Twitter, send us an email, let us know that you reviewed us or shared the show some other way, and we'll give you a shout out on the show.
And then, our last bit of housekeeping here is that March is Kirby Month. We're going to have to retire this bit of business here.
I will remember you.
All right, that's it. That's sweet. That did happen. Let's get into it. Let's talk Kirby and the Forgotten Land. All right, so I think maybe we should approach this by, not that there are ever spoilers in a Kirby game, but I think maybe we start off by just sort of discussing our overall experiences of it before we shift gears and just really just talk about whatever and any and all things in the game.
Okay, cool.
That's smart. That's good.
So I've talked to Mark so much about Kirby this month. Matt, where are you with the Kirby as a franchise?
Kirby is to me hit or miss. I think the charm is always there. Mm-hmm. The aesthetic's always there. He's always very cute. I think he is actually in Japan, he's the most popular Nintendo icon, if I read that correctly. Don't quote me on that, but I remember reading that somewhere that he is he's kind of the staple for Nintendo in Japan, more than Mario.
One of the thesis statements that we or at least that I have arrived at, is that Kirby is very similar to Mario in that he fills that Mr. Video role, right? That he can be the main character, the protagonist in any kind of game.
Yeah.
You just put him there and you're like, yeah, he makes sense there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
And in general, there are Kirby games that I absolutely adore. I think my favorite of the Kirby games it's probably a tie between the N64, the Crystal Shards Kirby game.
This is great. This is a blind spot for both of us.
I know, yeah.
Oh, because it gets really dark. To actually complete the game, I haven't played it since I was a kid, but your fairy friend is really cute and stuff. At the end of you beat the game, but then like her eyes like turn like dark, like evil at the very end. And it's like, oh, I didn't beat the game, so you have to like finish collecting everything. You get the secret boss where she like there's like an inner demon in her, and like she's like this creepy like
Oh, no.
like demonic like being that you have to like fight. It's like holy crap,
That's so insane.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So there's that, and it's probably I bet that's gonna come to N64 online at some
Yeah,
point.
hopefully.
That's my hope,
yeah.
yeah.
we were hoping it would be this month, but not yet.
There's that one, and then Nightmare in Dreamland. I played a lot. I think it's my favorite of the 2D Kirby games. I think it's just it has to at least my knowledge, because I haven't played my Game Boy Advance in a long time, but it had a level of difficulty to it, and it was very charming. And it I still remember this banger of a commercial. It was like Secret Agent Man, but it was like Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland, and so like that like stuck with me for years. But that game was awesome. But other than that, a lot of Kirby games I feel like they might lean too, like, I don't want to say, I'm gonna say the wrong word here, but like kiddie or like a little too easy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I that's definitely part of like the Kirby brand, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's cute, and like, what other characteristics does Kirby have? We have 2 Kirby amiibos sitting at the table with us right now.
Yeah.
And like, Mario can be cute, but like, you can ascribe other qualities to Mario. What other qualities can you ascribe to Kirby?
He's adorable.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
loves
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, sweet tooth guy, anime
Mhm.
guy on 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like he's cute.
He's
Yeah.
cute.
And,
yeah.
but also fierce. Cute but fierce. you
That's
know?
true.
Mhm.
He's cute, but like sometimes he's got eyebrows that make those eyes look
Yeah.
like he's real determined.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. That leads into like his aesthetic is kind of kiddie, but that also means that a lot of his games are accessible for like players
Yeah.
of any experience level.
Yeah, I feel like approachable is really what Kirby goes for.
Mhm.
It's good for like I think for newer gamers and stuff. Like I was kind of like Kirby Star Allies, which was the last Kirby game I believe for the Switch. That one was like way too easy for me. It was like there was no challenge. Even like finding the collectibles was super easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you can make games just like with any sort of video content or video games. Like you can make games aimed at children, but make it still challenging for like everyone. Like you kind of approach it with what you want to get out of it.
Yeah, well, and like that's one of the things that I have found about this game
Yeah.
and the Forgotten Land, that like getting through a level, getting from the entry point to the exit point can be very easy, right? But it's all in like finding those extra waddle dees to like make it through, or in like the challenge little sections between levels that really make the game, really give the game any kind of challenge to like the shape of it.
Well, I also think it's really interesting that Forgotten Land is, as far as I know, the only Kirby game that just straight up offers you difficulty levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like at the very start of the game. And I am curious what you guys are playing on. Are you playing on like the more challenging one or the like regular mode?
So, well, I think I'm playing on the wild mode.
Yeah, which is I'm playing also on wild mode.
Which is the more challenging one, right?
Yeah, and
okay.
I think it's the one that it like defaults to. You have to choose the other one, right?
Mm.
I believe so. Yeah.
Mark, are you also playing on the wild
yeah,
mode?
yeah.
Yeah, because we're crazy.
Well, I'm also like, I'm not going to choose the easy mode on a Kirby game. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Not to speak disparagingly of easy games. One of the things that I'm like actually enjoying quite a bit about this is that we're in a Elden Ring moment right now. So like, I know a lot of people are playing like a very difficult game that like challenges and rewards them. But I'm just playing like a fun, cute game that. Does it challenge me? Not really. Does it reward me? I feel like it does.
I think so too.
So I am fine. I wouldn't say that this game is like on the extreme part of the difficulty scale, but I think that there is a surprising amount of like challenge in it and interesting challenge, especially in the like side like
The hidden
special
realms
the hidden realms, and then also. I guess we're doing general impressions, but towards the end of the game, I think some of the levels do get like a surprising level of challenge where you're not just gonna be able to coast through them.
And I just think in general, I appreciate the difficulty. And as someone who, for me, games like these, like Mario and Kirby, like I'm a completionist for these type of games. So
Yeah.
for me, I do not move on and I do this for. I love doing it. Like I love doing it. But I do it because I don't move on until I collect every single Waddle Dee in each level. And then each challenge area you can beat it, but then there's also the target time, and I try to. There's only one I haven't been able to beat, but I don't go until I beat that target time.
Oh, see, I let the target times go. If I'm like, if I do it really well on like my first try or like the first time I actually like accomplish it,
Yeah.
I'm like. I'm like that was perfect, and I'm like 3 seconds off. I'm like, well, forget it. I'm never gonna. Even though I know I can go in there and like whittle it down, but I will move on from those things a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so I have not been being like a completionist to get all of the Waddle Dees in each level, and so I'm curious for the boss levels that basically require you to go back, because a lot of them like they're very specific.
Yeah.
Right. It's like beat it with this copy ability. So if you just been like going right back in to do it again once
usually,
you like know,
because how it reveals each thing is like
I love this.
It's awesome because you don't get at the end of the level. It'll show the different Waddle Dee challenges, but it'll show the ones that you do. So a lot of times you'll just do it. It's like, oh, I guess I beat that level in under a minute 50. Great, but it'll just open up the next unknown challenge. It'll just reveal that one. So
I love that it just reveals one.
Yeah.
So like if you miss 2 of them, you're like, oh, I got to go back in and like figure that out. And it's like, well, here's what one of them was.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, and then you get that one, and then it will reveal the next one.
After the first boss fight, I figured out though, like the last 2, it's gonna be a time thing, and it's gonna be a don't get hit thing. So I'm like, I always do a run. Usually my first run is the one where I just like go super fast because I know that last one's going to be time. So I just want to reveal them. So I go as fast as I can. I usually I think the dragon ability is really good. And it depends on each opponent, but like, man, I just really appreciate the heck out of this.
Yeah, like, give me that needle move. And then I can just roll into bosses. Give it to me.
Yeah, and what I like about it too is that I want to save all the Waddle Dee, one because they're adorable, and 2 like the added element of having Waddle Dee Town expand is incredible. I love the charm of it. I want to go there. I want that to be like a section in Nintendo Land.
Yes.
Yes. Like I love everything. It encourages me to go and do that. Even like I'm doing all the gachapon, like which I don't usually do. Although I wish I could just do like drop 50. And,
I know. Instead of having to like put in 10, 20 or whatever, like turn the crank, get it, and then like have to choose it again. But yeah, I feel like Waddle Dee Town is such a good example for me of where I appreciate like how smart this game is, like how well it incorporates like Kirby elements, but in a new way, because we've talked a lot during Kirby Month about sub games, and this has sub games, but the way it's incorporated into like Waddle Dee Town, I feel like it's just a very smart evolution of that like Kirby formula.
They're diegetic sub games. Like there's a reason that Kirby is playing them within the context, like within the world of the game. Even down to like the Tilt and Tumble, where it's just like, oh yeah, there's a Waddle Dee that like has a little games booth and he makes you play these things. And I think the overall economy of the game is smart and I never feel like I'm just absolutely swimming in coins or absolutely swimming in rare stones to upgrade stuff. Like Waddle Dees is they're less of a currency and more of like you need a certain number to unlock features of Waddle Dee Town, but that you're always being rewarded for the stuff that you've been collecting in levels anyway. Just it feels really good. Like the feedback loop there is just like constant and rewarding.
And I just realized this too, because I wasn't sure about this, but when you find the gachapon little balls in each level, so I thought that was just giving me a collectible specifically for that level, which may be true, and I haven't quite cracked the nut on this yet. But as I revisited the levels, I noticed that it just gave me a random gachapon. So so it's like that's another way to collect your gachapon, is that you could just
keep going through the
levels. Levels, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, have you put any of your figures up in Kirby's house?
I have, but I have to go back because I only did it during when I had Volume 1 of the Gachapon. Because I was like, oh, this is a rare one. This is a 4-star. This is the gorilla guy. I'll put him up. I need more than 3 slots though. I wish I had
3 is not enough. Yeah,
we have hundreds of figures.
Yeah, there are so many figures that you collect through the course of this game, and the only thing you can do with them is put 3 of them up on above Kirby's fireplace.
But I do like Man, I'm really loving this
No,
game.
I am too. I think so. I had never played Planet Robobot until we did it for Kirby Month, and Planet Robobot became my number one
Yeah.
Kirby game.
That's the one I haven't played.
It's
good.
so
It's good.
good. But it's also so many of the elements that I'm enjoying about Forgotten Land. Basically, Robobot had like my number one spot for about 2 weeks, and then Forgotten Land came out, and I think Forgotten Land is now my favorite Kirby game.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of what I liked about Planet Robobot, which is I don't want to oversell it, but it is more like puzzle focused. Like the platforming in Planet Robobot is a lot of like, oh, there's like a foreground and a background, and since it's on the 3DS, you're like going between the two, and you have to figure out how to like unlock something or how to advance. And usually it's like, oh, okay, in some levels I need to do something in the foreground so it unlocks the background. Like it's a little like more deliberate in its pace, and I actually think Kirby and the Forgotten Land is faster paced. It is more like platforming focused, but I think those like puzzle elements, that like thoughtfulness has made its way into Forgotten Land in a way that like really like Star Allies feels like, because I felt the same way about Star Allies as you did, Matt, and it feels like a weird like aberration because it is very much like an old Kirby game, in my mind, to its detriment. And Forgotten Land feels so like confident as like a first 3D Kirby entry that it feels, one, like remarkable that it's as good as it is, but two, like just weird that Star Allies happened.
And it's almost like, where was this all along, right? Because like you're right to say that they're confident in it, but like they're confident in the kind of puzzle solving that's just about like quickly assessing, like seeing the space and understanding it, and a lot of times understanding it fast, right? Like there are so many times where like you need to get to a Waddle Dee or something before something else triggers, right? And that's it. Like all you gotta do is like just get there before the boulder like comes in and like knocks out the floor that he was standing on, so you can rescue him. And then sometimes where it's like there actually is a little timer that's you have to do it in before the timer runs out, but it all feels like you just need to do like quick little visual exploration, take in this whole adorable diorama that Kirby's inside, and then just like solve it and get the prize.
Yeah. And what I really love about it too is I just think it's smart game design, is that there are games where you have to, and this is fine, I think this is a total personal preference, but there are games where like you might need to go outside of that level to gain an ability to go back to do this thing. But in Kirby and the Forgotten Kingdom, the game developers have, at least so far, I haven't been in the game yet, have kind of everything that you kind of need for that level is present there. Like there's like a small fire bad guy that in this corner that was hidden that I needed to get or something. Like every time I approach a new area, I see a new guy, like sorry, that scared me. 70% of the
Someone
time,
just walked by the window to the studio here.
70% of the time, I feel like I'm going to use that ability in the next area to unlock a secret thing, which I love that. I love that it's giving me kind of like the power, and it's making my gameplay a little more fluid. I don't really like backtracking in this way. Like,
right.
I don't know. It's a different kind of backtracking.
You seldom like approach a puzzle or a thing that you need to solve in the game and don't have the tools for it.
Yeah.
Like, but I think that also speaks to just like the versatility of the tools that the game does give you. That like, man, I love it when you're approaching a boss or like a little boss rush thing, and there's just like six of the abilities are there, and it's just like, take whichever one you want. And you're like, I've really been rocking the Ranger for a while, I'm gonna do that, or like I'm gonna do the Dragon Fire. Like and they're all viable weapons against whatever you're going to take on. And I think that's really cool.
And every single one, and I think the challenges kind of encourage you to try things out of your comfort zone too, for specifically boss challenges where, like one of them was, I forgot which boss it was, but it was like, oh, use the frost ability to freeze that boss. To
it's like is it like the ballerina?
Yeah. Oh, that was the ballerina. Yeah. But it's like
Florina or whatever.
Yeah. And that was like a more challenging way to fight that boss, but it was like and I had to kind of, it teaches you how to fight differently and think differently, which I thought was just such a great way. It's kind of like you can replay these levels with these different abilities. And I think it's going to be like enough variation where
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, totally. Well, and like for that specific challenge, I couldn't like I went back in and like fought with the ice ability and didn't successfully freeze her, killed her before I had frozen her.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, I don't know. I guess I'll come back to this. And then when I leveled up the frost ability,
Yeah.
then it was easier to freeze her. So like it's also just cool the leveling up, which by the way, I think that's one of the killer advancements in this game is that you level up your copy abilities.
Yeah.
But then like having being incentivized to go back with your old copy abilities now stronger to unlock those challenges is just really cool, really smart, and like keeps you going back to stuff that you've already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I kind of like, I feel like the limited amount of copy abilities is a virtue
Yes.
in this game.
Yes.
Like not, and I think, sure, it sets a good foundation. Whatever they do next, you can have those plus some other ones. But I just felt like I appreciated the leveling up more than just having like 20 more copy abilities, I don't need
I feel
mirror
that.
in my life.
You don't need mirror. You don't need psychic. You don't need staff. You don't need our beloved rock. Yeah, like the abilities that are there are all they're all functional except for sleep, and they're all like fun to use, which I also think is like a little bit of a miracle.
I like that they use sleep as like booby traps.
Yes.
So there will be like enemies who have the sleep ability who are like in your way to get to where you need to go.
Yes.
And you're like, ooh, and whenever, because the structure of the game is like there's these hidden challenges in each level that don't reveal themselves until you either do it or you finish the level and it reveals one of them, that I'm always like doing things with an eye to like, ooh, this might be a challenge. So you see these like little sleep guys, or there's like a bunch of like flowers out there and you're like, I got to touch all those flowers, or
Yep.
I'm going to, I have to get through this without falling asleep because that might be one of those hidden challenges.
Yes. Well, I do love that you start to develop like a radar for like what are these hidden challenges. There's one level where there's a pool that's in like a little tucked away off the main road, and the only enemies in there is one sleepy guy. And one of the challenges is like take a nap by the pool. So like you have to eat the sleepy guy and fall asleep, but next to the pool, which is incredible.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Have you guys utilized the reward system or the not the reward system, the password system to get gifts?
Yes, the Waddle deliveries.
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on Tuesday's episode because there were all those codes like kind of floating around in various places. I used the one that it gives you in game.
Yeah.
And then after we talked about it on the show, I entered in that thank you Meta Knight because I needed a couple rare stones.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Thank you Meta Knight, all caps, no spaces. Gives you 3 rare stones.
Yeah. So I did it.
Wow.
And
Yeah, it's a good reward.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I had like seen an article or like Twitter or somewhere, like a list of all the available ones before I had reached that point in the game.
Didn't share it with either of us.
So when it came up, I was like, oh, and so I just went through and like entered like all like 10 or whatever that are
Yeah.
out right now. I kind of think it's a dumb mechanic. Like
I think so
don't
too.
really get it.
I don't get it because
Yeah.
I also can't find them. Like it's not that I don't know. Like even there's the one that they give you in Waddle Dee Town, but
Yes.
like there are more hidden here. I'm like,
That's
I
what
can't
I
find
thought
them.
too.
Did they say there are more hidden
Yeah.
there, or
Yeah.
that there are other places?
It's in here in Waddle Dee Town.
exactly.
Here in Waddle Dee Town?
Yeah.
What?
I'm gonna give you all one here. I thought I'd give it to you. This one's from the Kirby microsite that I did to get my Nintendo rewards. I got 100 Nintendo rewards. This one says the code is Kirby microsite, and that's site SITE. So get those points, and then if you
get
clear
those
the
coins
demo,
or whatever.
I
Yeah.
think it's coins. If you get the demo, it's clear demo. Use clear demo to get more coins. So.
Yeah. And it, like Mark said, you can go to like probably like Kotaku or Polygon or someone's got an article with all these. IGN probably has in their wiki or
But
whatever.
back in the day, we had to call Nintendo.
We had to pay $2.95 a minute. But there's also, is that cheap? $2.95 a minute, or was it probably more expensive than that for like help on Teenage Mutant Ninja
seems
Turtles?
expensive. That seems expensive to me.
Yeah, for like 1993.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would think like 10 cents a minute.
Wow.
Is that cheap?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
don't
that
even
feels
know.
really cheap. That's like what he, yeah.
There's probably some medium there.
Yeah, I just wish they would just like give you that they would just dole out the rewards like over time. But
Yeah.
I just wish I understood why they're doing it this way.
Why
Because
indeed?
it
Yes.
feels like it could be used for something cool, but I don't know what that would be.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
thought. At first, I thought it was gonna be more like the Pokemon mystery gift, like maybe you'll get
Yes.
like a new ability upgrade or
Right,
something. You
right.
know?
Well, yeah, I mean that's the ultimate thing is that like the rewards aren't that great.
Yeah.
Like if the reward were
A new copy ability.
a new copy ability or like furniture to put in Kirby's house or
I
something.
wish I
Yes.
could customize. Like, look, here's I'm not. I don't think this is a diss at the game, but I like this is me just kind of blowing this
Yeah,
out. I
yeah.
also agree. I wish I could just blow the heck out of Kirby's house.
I
Like,
would
just
love
go
it.
Yeah.
deck it out how I want it. You know? Like,
I mean, just look. I know you have the technology, okay?
Yeah.
We've played Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise.
Yeah.
We know we have the technology to totally revamp that house.
Yeah.
I want to change it entirely. I want to change the wallpaper.
I want to be able to redecorate the house, but I want to protect the bed space.
Protect the bed.
Because Kirby going to sleep and the different animations. I mean, we talked in the beginning, like, how do you describe Kirby? It's like cute. And this game leans into it
Yeah.
so hard. Like, everything is adorable in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we alluded to it at the top of the episode, but the sort of like main enemy faction in the game is the Beast Brigade. Beast. What are they?
the beast
Pack?
The beast pack.
Beast Pack. There we go. And so it means that like the main like foot soldier enemies are they're like little red fox corgi dog
Yeah.
things.
Right. Just like the cannon fodder.
Yeah. And they're cannon fodder who are sometimes attacking you, but like I don't know, 8 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, they're just like taking a nap or standing in line for a roller coaster.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
That's what's kind of confusing because, like, yes, they have captured the Waddle Dees who fell into this dimension, into this like Forgotten Land dimension when this like wormhole opened up over Planet Popstar.
It
and
is,
Kirby,
it is
like,
not
flies
clear to
into
me.
it and
I
all this
think
kind of
there
stuff.
may be Waddle Dees in this dimension natively because they have a city there that gets destroyed.
Oh, see, I thought that they were just
Who knows?
the Waddle Dee lore.
Right.
Not entirely sure.
I thought it was like the Save Waddle Dees built the city. After.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
what
I
I
thought they
thought.
were like refugees
Because
and
that
you, like-
city is you go through it in the very beginning and it's
Right,
nothing.
right. But so we think that it was not originally settled by Waddle Dees. It was settled by other creatures that are the exact same size.
Yeah.
Which we determined yesterday is 8 inches tall.
right.
Right.
And then Waddle Dees. That's what I think is that they're like
Actually, this
they're
is-
like rehabilitating.
This is
it.
fun. How tall do you think Kirby is?
Yeah, if you had to guess, and you have to because this is our show.
I think he's probably the size of like a Pikachu. No, sorry, Detective Pikachu.
Sure.
So with hat. So I think he's about 3.5 feet.
3.5.
3.5 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
3.5 feet.
We guessed about what was it? 24 inches.
26 inches.
26
yeah.
inches.
Yeah.
So 2.2.
2 and 2 inches. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mark was looking up something yesterday that suggested Kirby was 8 inches tall.
Yeah. So canonically,
Whoa.
and this is actually so according.
This was not cited.
It was
in-
not.
in
It
the
was
wiki.
not
Yeah.
sourced at the
Right.
on Wikipedia. It is not sourced, but I went digging, and it is, and I found out where it comes from. So the Japanese website for the Kirby and the Crystal Shards, is that the N64 one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the site for it said that was true, but they also have a caveat that not on the Kirby and the Crystal Shards website, but that in Smash Brothers he's treated as being more as like 2 to 3 feet. Because
Okay.
he has to
Right.
meet the dimensions of the other characters.
Right. But I
Yeah.
mean, like, so too is Olimar, right? Like,
Right.
because he should be like, what, half an inch tall? Like,
Right.
he's tiny.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, okay. So you get pulled from Planet Popstar.
Oh, right.
Into this forgotten land, and yes, like these enemies, like the Beast Pack, these cute little fox guys, have like captured the Waddle Dees, but also like you're kind of invading their territory, right?
Absolutely.
Like these
Yeah.
fox guys are just trying to exist in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think this
You're
is
the invading force.
because we're getting there's. Are you guys reading all the subtext from like the trophies and like
Yes.
it's? I think it was like a human world, like
Well,
because like the amusement park, it was like kind of sad. Like the
Yes.
writer of the. I know about there's like a dog, 2 dogs. There's a male and female dog at the amusement park that's a mascot, and it's this writer's characters that he wrote, and he made them the mascot of this amusement. It's like this crazy deep lore of like of this world. I think it was like like human. It's like Dr. Stone or something, you know?
Well,
Totally.
we may be venturing into spoiler territory / story beats that we have not yet uncovered, as none of us have rolled credits on the game.
Right.
No, yeah.
Okay.
But in the
Do you know something?
Yeah, do
Now
you know
got a
something?
smirk.
I
You
mean,
got a little smirk.
I experienced something. I was playing this game, like sitting in the car waiting for the recording to start when I should have been getting an XLR cable from my home. We were a little bit delayed in starting today. It's all my fault. But I experienced like a end game story beat that is very expository and revelatory about the world and the role that the beasts are playing in it.
Interesting. Does it recontextualize the whole thing?
Not, I mean, like a little bit.
Is
It's
my
like
mind going to be blown?
No, but
now I
but
can't wait
it's
to know
fun.
what this is.
Oh man. Okay, that's interesting because I got to I mean this is a spoiler, but like I got to a sand part.
Okay, so you're in the original Wasteland?
The next one.
Oh, the one beyond the Wasteland?
Which I was like,
this is
whoa.
a spoiler because we just got to break this down. So,
okay.
So King DDD,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Right.
Shows up.
It's all spoilers from here on out.
Okay.
It's all spoilers
Wait,
from
King
10
DDD
seconds ago.
shows up in a Kirby game?
Okay, so King DDD shows up, steals your your furry butterfly friend.
Right.
And are you in that world? Or
That's
are you
where
in
I'm in.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm not. Oh man. I guess it only says I'm like 38% done. So and I'm 100%ing it. So.
Yeah.
No, I think you're fairly close to the end because I'm one level beyond that, which is
The fiery
it's
area?
like a lava level type thing.
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and that is like the final level before like the final boss type thing.
Whoa.
So
okay. So,
we're pretty close to
But
the
then
end.
why am I only at 37%? Is there another?
You're missing stuff, Matt. There's stuff you're
Or maybe,
seeing.
or do you think it's like the stuff in like have you been doing the sub games in like Waddle Dee Town?
Yeah.
Like, do those count and
the
everything?
moment I don't know if those count. So like I did the first tournament. I'm like, yeah, I got
How do
this.
you get multiple tournaments?
Is there a second tournament?
We're jumping.
I'm
We're all over the
assuming-
place.
I'm assuming because hold on, hold on. Let me
All right,
recollect
all right,
myself.
okay.
Okay, so one of the things that pops up in Waddle Dee Town eventually is this Coliseum, which is dope. It's
Uh-huh.
very,
It's very
you know,
cool.
Kingdom Hearts Hercules Coliseum, you know.
Yep.
Where it's just battle, like it's like rush mode, which is awesome. So like the first, I think it's like you're gonna get more because you only fight like the first set of bosses in the first one.
Right,
So
Right,
I'm
and that's why we
assuming-
keep expecting there to be more, but it has not like revealed itself what like the next layers of this are. But I wonder if you have to beat the
If you
game.
had to like clear the game entirely. Yeah. Or if it's just a matter of like Waddle Dee count, right? That like
Oh sure.
when you get to 200 Waddle Dees, then you get like a second
yeah.
thing.
Because I'm clearing literally like I'm getting all the Waddle Dee where it'll say dum, bum, bum, you got all the Waddle Dee in this
Yeah.
area, you know. So like that's kind of how I'm playing it. But yeah, I don't know. It only says I'm like 37%, 38% done. I wonder if there's like a whole nother like secret world or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I have not looked up anything about this
Yeah.
game, Mark. I don't. You
Oh,
mentioned that you.
yeah, so I don't know if there's like because in a lot of games there's like you were talking about with
Crystal Shards.
Crystal Shards where
Yeah.
it's like oh sure you completed it but you haven't like 100%ed it so you're
Yeah.
not done and there's a like true final boss a lot of times in these Kirby games.
Yeah.
I have no idea if that is the case for Forgotten Land.
I'm going to go ahead and say that it is the case for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, as I think that's what I just accessed before I turned it off and came in to record. Which, like, there's. I would say this game is, for the most part, like story non-existent, right? Like,
Totally.
you're dropped
Right.
into a strange new world.
It's
Kirby.
an isekai.
What's that?
It's an isekai.
Kirby is asleep, as always, and terrible things happen, and then he has to save the day. But when you go into what appears to be your final like beast encounter, he's a lion, and look, this game is a weird. The cat boss that you fight earlier, who's got like this extreme hourglass shape to her, who I find a little upsetting, and then this hunky lion that you fight at the end, I find both of their body shapes distressing. But he's like standing in front of what I believe the final boss encounter to
Oh,
be.
okay.
And that's what reveals like why the world is in the state that it's
Interesting.
in, and why the beasts have banded together to try and harness the power of this thing.
Got it.
And so you, Kirby, are just there like messing up what they're up to. So like in a lot of ways, you're right. Kirby is the invading force.
Yeah.
The beasts have a plan to make their world better, but that's there's like an evil behind all of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
I see. I mean, they're probably they think they're the good guys, but at the same time they're like sacrificing these Waddle Dee to do it. you know?
Well,
and that's not cool.
From my perspective, it's the Jedi who are evil.
One thing I did want to talk about that's like the gameplay structure itself.
Yes.
Is so the camera is very controlled. It's almost like God of War-ish, like the original like PS2 like God of War, where it's sometimes doing like these cinematic swoops and everything, but for the most part, like you have no control. You can kind of like point it a little bit one direction, like you're really
it's very funny.
really,
Yeah,
like,
you can just
pulling it.
nudge it.
Yeah, but it won't go that far. But I feel like another as I was playing it, especially in the beginning, another kind of like game type that I feel like it takes a lot of inspiration from is the Lego games. So like the Lego Star Wars and everything.
Yeah,
because
totally.
Kirby's kind of acting as like an agent of chaos in a way that he doesn't in other games, where he can interact with a lot of things in the world, and you're destroying them. And when you destroy them, you get these coins. And just that like gameplay
Holy
loop,
cow! Yeah,
like
that's
totally
Lego.
made me feel, and even just like the way the camera is positioned a lot of the time, and the way you're controlling Kirby, like I think it is remarkable how smoothly 2D Kirby has translated to like 3D Kirby.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
the moveset is very different, but it also feels so much like Kirby. Like they really nailed it. But it definitely is like built on the foundation of these other games, whether intentional or not. But just like it feels very much like a Lego game in a lot of respects to me.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect comparison. Like, because Lego games are always like you're swapping out characters for their different abilities, different ways they interact with the environment, which is just 100% what the copy abilities accomplish in this. Mark, I like what you said about how smoothly the translation to 3D is here, because I think all of the copy abilities work in 3D, and they all work in like distinct ways where like I don't really see the difference in most Kirby games between like the hammer and the sword, right? Like one deals more damage maybe, but like they feel functionally the same. And in a 3D space, like they don't, right?
Yeah.
Like they genuinely feel different. And I just think that's a really like smart application.
There's a really interesting interview. Nintendo kind of infrequently, but they've done like 3 or 4 of them, have done this sort of like ask the developers type of like interview thing that they publish on their website. And they have one for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it's really interesting about like the challenges that they faced in translating this game to 3D, where they talk about like Kirby as designed in a 3D space. If the camera's behind him, you wouldn't be able to tell which way he's facing, because he's
Right.
And so they had to like make accommodations to Kirby's design to make it clear which way Kirby's facing. Or if you're hovering, right, like there's no way to tell how close you are to the ground.
Right.
And so they had to make like like smart decisions where it's like, well, you're like, we think this is actually what you want, and so we're going to like land you here instead. And so it is remarkable how smooth it is, because you can tell these are actually like really challenging problems to solve in 3D space.
Yeah.
But it comes off like so seamlessly.
Yeah. I mean, the game is definitely built for like maximum playability. Like there's no part of the like so limited camera control ability is just that they're like, no, we got it. Like you can mess with it a little bit if you want, but like don't,
Yeah.
They just want you to like play it and have fun.
Yeah. And I think in general, the art is like it looks so good to me.
Yeah.
There's even there's a small detail that I really appreciate. It's so unique and like you really see it in the carnival world.
Yes.
Where it's like there's a point where the background is like just far enough, and it almost looks like stop motion-y or something.
And yes, this is I love this feature of the game.
Yeah.
And it's obviously like a technical restriction, or like born out of that, where objects in the far distance are animated at like fewer frames per second.
Yeah.
It's something that Pokemon Legends Arceus does as well. But like it adds to this sort of like toyetic feel of it. Like it feels
right in this world.
It does. It feels
Yeah.
like totally right.
It's so charming. It feels like because I think with HAL in general, like they do it's all like feels like toys to me.
Yeah.
Like, it always feels like you're playing in a toy box, and this game they like lean into that they're even though that might be technically a technical disadvantage for them, they really use it to their advantage to make this really great toy box kind of charm that I just adore. I think it's awesome, and the perspective shifts I think are great. I think the carnival world is my favorite so far. I just think like running in and like the camera kind of like turning on the switch and the lights go on and it opens up to this
garage
grandiose,
door.
like, oh my god, it's just so adorable, and it's a different kind of art. Like I prefer this style than like the beauty of like Horizon for Forbidden West. Like that is beautiful, but to me this is more my taste. Like it feels more, I don't know. I don't know, it feels more like an escape to me.
Yeah, well, and it's like free of the expectation of photorealism, right? Like,
I don't need that, man.
I don't need it. I just need it to be pretty and colorful, which the game is.
And also, I think it's like the environments are so different from what I expect from Kirby, but it still feels right. Like it feels like really appropriate for Kirby to be there. So it's this weird like line between like, yeah, this is a mall, this is a theme park. Like my theme park loving heart, when there's like a entire level dedicated to essentially the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's just like so much fun. And the music in this game is so good.
Yes, I totally agree. This is my favorite score, Kirby's OST, I think ever. I think they nailed it.
Well, it's like Kirby by way of Mario Galaxy, right?
Yes.
Because it's got the fully orchestrated quality. It's got that sort of like soaring heroic theme. There's the like main song that like kicks off the game. First of all, what a banger. It's so good.
It's so 90s, like Hakusho anime. Like I love it, dude. Like
for me, it lives like right in the middle of the 1980s because it sounds first of all, the chorus is identical to the chorus of the Perfect Strangers theme song. Standing tall. And then it also does a little da 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 da, like the Never Ending Story song.
Exactly,
which 1986 and 1984 respectively. So I think they're taking the music cues from the middle of the 1980s, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
But then through the like the lens of like a huge orchestral thing, it's just dope.
Yeah, it's when you talk about Super Mario Odyssey, like the Wonderia, the theme park, it's like main theme.
Yeah.
Total, like it reminded me a lot of like the same sort of Steam Gardens from Super Mario Odyssey.
So good. Yeah.
Where, you know, it's like, ooh, like this is amazing and so surprising for like a Kirby game, or, you know, I was just not expecting it. And there's lots of moments like that. Talking about like the pop song at the very beginning of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This like cold open for this game is so good because it introduces you to like mouthful mode.
Yep.
And you start off with the car and just like driving the car through this little like course
feels great.
Feels so good. Plus you first of all, when you're in mouthful mode and you have a copy ability, you get a little hat.
Yeah.
So you're like a big old water balloon wearing like a little, you know.
Oh my god, I couldn't deal with being mouthful of water.
It's my favorite.
It's so funny.
I love it. I love it. Water balloon. But like, so you're in the car and you're driving. This pop song is playing. Like the main title comes up at the very end. Like it's just like you're in for a good time. Like you feel. Because I started this game just not knowing what to expect. I started a little bit hesitant, being like, this could, like I'm hoping it's fun. I'm hoping it's really good. But it could easily just be some of the stuff I don't enjoy in Kirby that much. And after that, like, cold open, that, like, experience, I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be a good time. Like, I felt well taken care of.
I feel comforted and like safe.
Yeah.
You know? It feels like a warm hug to me. I don't know. It's like, it's just perfect. Ah, my gosh.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think adding to that, like, comfort or that, like, feeling of, like, returning to something that is awesome but also like feels safe at the same time, they keep sampling that little lick of melody from the pop song.
Yeah,
like it's playing in sort of like a smooth jazz arrangement when you're in Waddle Dee Town. It sneaks into like level themes here and there. There's that it's just so I don't know. It is a complete sonic package, which I don't normally expect kind of from any video game to be
Yeah.
like this holistically, like looking at the way it sounds.
It got me really excited, and I was already excited for this, but I'm even more excited for after this game for the Kirby live streamed.
Oh, the
orchestra.
concert.
yeah.
for
Because
sure.
they gotta play some of these songs. Like I really hope
gotta.
they play. Like I think my favorite that's different from the opening is in the haunted house. It's like this like kind of sci-fi-y like.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
like
the invasion of the House of
That
Horrors.
one is
Yes.
so
yeah,
good.
like the
Oh my!
like the
that
Buzz
sounds
Lightyear
so
Space
good.
Ranger spin type level.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I'm like, man, this is a banger. This
It's
is
so
awesome.
good. Can we talk about the some of the copy abilities? Because I feel like that
Yeah.
same like
Yes.
thoughtfulness, a word I've been using a lot tonight, but it really does feel like I was like the detail oriented nature of the what you get in the music, the whole sonic experience. I feel like you get in the copy abilities as well, because there are so many like little like fun details in the different copy abilities that can only really be achieved in 3D space. Like when you have the ice ability, you are like you move around by like you're gliding on ice,
Yeah, he
but then when you
skates
a
little.
jump, you're doing these like triple sow counts.
Yeah, that's right.
You're doing these like ice skating moves, and it's just so cute and like fun to see Kirby do that. Like we talk about one of the things we like about Mario so much is just like the joy of movement.
Yeah.
There is so much joy in moving Mario, seeing Mario run. And generally in Kirby games, I don't get that. Like Kirby moves too slow for me. In this game, I wish there was like a run button. I wish I could get
Yeah.
Kirby to move a little faster. But there is that joy in a lot of these like copy abilities because, those like little details, that attention to detail is so like
Yeah.
prevalent.
And
Yeah.
I like that even like I love the freedom of what you're talking about too. That analogy for Mario is great, by the way. I think I totally agree with that. But I agree that this game, even though we don't have that dash, I agree that we do feel that sense of freedom. Even like, but I like that it restricts you just enough. For example, like when you fall off, you can fly back up, but you can't just like surpass an obstacle. Like the game wants you to
You can
go
only
through
fly
it.
so high.
And you can't
Yeah.
float forever.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I just think is so cool. Like, it doesn't mean you won't fall, but it's just like I'm glad that I just love that like there is a roof and they want
Yeah.
they want you to keep going. Like with what they built, which is awesome.
I also thought it's just really funny to see Kirby with a gun.
Oh yeah.
It's very funny. I also love the Ranger ability.
It's so
I love
good.
the
It's-
Ranger ability.
Man, do you guys have it leveled up to Space Ranger yet?
No.
Not Space Ranger. I got the
Oh.
second level up, which is Buccaneer. or-
Yeah, it's got like a
like a
big like
pirate?
feather plumed hat. Yeah. Space Ranger, he's wearing like a space helmet, and there's like graphics like printed out like on the visor, and he's instead of shooting like stars, he's shooting like beams, and I love it. I love that. I love the bomb ability.
Yeah. The bomb, the chaining the bombs is really fun.
Chaining the bombs, when you level it up a second time, it becomes a homing bomb.
Yeah.
So like you throw it and it like grows little feet and like runs towards the enemies. It's just like it's all. I don't think there's a single, other than sleep, a single copy ability in here that I don't like using.
Yeah. I think my favorite, because I like going fast, right?
Yeah.
I like going really fast. So I really like the upgraded sword. Specifically, can I say it? I'm gonna say it. It's the third level up of the
Oh
sword.
yeah, say
which
it,
is
say it.
it's
We're
the
spoiling
Meta Knight.
everything.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Meta Knight
yeah.
sword, which I'm just like, I'm gonna go ham on this. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
And the blocking ability on the Meta Knight sword is like overpowered.
Oh yeah,
Like, it
it's
is
so
so
good.
Yeah.
This has not been a feature of previous Kirby games, right? The ability to block and then dodge.
I don't
no,
think
no,
so.
which is awesome.
It's
Like,
so good.
You can side dodge.
You can side dodge, and it does the thing where like it slows down time
Yeah.
for a second.
If you time it perfectly,
Yes.
it's like gives you an opportunity or something.
It's like you're Batman.
It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
I really, really love the first time leveled up needle ability where you become like a Katamari Damacy,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just rolling around picking bad guys up and like throwing them away. That's very fun.
And I like how these side missions, and I can't remember what they're called, but the side
Yeah, the like treasure road.
The treasure like warp portal. I
Yeah.
forgot what it was.
Yeah,
like,
but
the
whatever-
rifts, the rifts.
We all guessed.
Yeah.
One of us might be partly right.
but whatever those are called, like they some of them, you're just like regular Kirby, but a lot of them, they ask you to say like use this ability to do this specific task. And I like that a lot because there are some copy abilities like the like kind of like mind control. It's not mind control, but it's like use like slow down
It's
time.
time slap. or
Yeah, the
whatever.
time.
Yeah.
The time bomb.
Yeah, where you like slow down time and
You just run into things.
You just run into things, and like I have not used that in the game outside of doing it in like the side mission.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun to be like, oh, that's what this does.
And it also teaches you how to use that ability, which
Yep.
what I like is
and
that
how to
it's
use
not-
it well.
Yeah, because every ability is different. Like some of them, like you have to slide, press jump, and then you can do like special.
Mhm.
Some of them you have to like block and through. Like it's not just B, which is like
Yes.
which I, like the frozen the freeze ability. You have to if you shield and tap B, you like do like a frozen rock thing, which
Yeah.
I had no idea. But those challenges teach you how to do that stuff, which I really appreciate. Like the time stop, I didn't until the challenge. I didn't know that I was supposed to run into I could just run into enemies and it refuels the time.
Yes, yeah, because it gives you what, like 10 seconds to complete
Yeah.
that challenge,
Yeah.
but you can slow down the clock and knock all the bad guys out. Yeah, I mean, I honestly I don't think there's a bad copy ability in the bunch.
Yeah.
Even something that's like pretty straightforward and doesn't really level up. Like I don't think the hammer levels up in a particularly compelling way.
I agree.
I think that it looks funny when you change it to the toy hammer,
Yeah.
and then to the primitive hammer.
I don't
later,
think it does
but-
enough damage, and there's not enough range. Like it's high risk, low reward for the hammer. I
agree with
You
that.
have to be close and doesn't do that much damage unless you really charge it, but it doesn't have the range. You know,
Right.
Like, might as well use the barbarian sword,
Yes.
which is awesome.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say about the copy abilities, or do we need to move on to our like favorite mouthful mode?
Oh yeah, let's
transformations.
Yes, let's get into it.
Let's just do mouthfuls. I was a little bit bummed how early you experience all the mouthful transformations.
Yeah.
I don't. It's ultimately not bad, but I think we had seen all of them.
There aren't that many. So there's
Right.
car, like traffic cone, light bulb,
Vending machine,
the vending machine, the like
The
circle,
circle,
fan.
right?
Yeah, fan
The
thing.
arch.
Oh yeah,
the
the
that you
arch where
glide
do, like,
on.
the
The
gliding
roller
levels.
coaster.
Oh,
Yeah, the
right. So
roller
there are
coaster.
actually quite a few.
Yeah.
But some of them only make a couple of appearances. Like the arch maybe makes 2 appearances. The roller coaster I
Yeah.
think is exclusive
One.
to.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
No,
weird
there's
if you were doing a roller
there's
coaster.
two. There's a second one.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it though.
So that's actually more than I was thinking though when I first
yeah.
started out.
The stairs.
Doing the countdown.
stairs.
Oh yeah, the
oh yeah,
stairs.
the stairs. Yeah, so there are quite a bit.
Dude, that stairs challenge. Did you guys do that one where it's like the treasure road thing where
Yes.
you have to like move the stairs around
yeah,
so that
it
they're
took
like
me a couple of times.
Me too.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I can't. It felt like I was doing a puzzle from like Lolo or like Quark or something, where it's like just all of these sort of positional block moving puzzles.
Especially because the stairs are really specific in the way that you can move it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you like I don't know. I admire the person who has the spatial reasoning to like do it in one go.
Yeah, me too.
Because it took me like I had to like really concentrate on like the last one
Yeah.
to figure out like where I needed to position
Yeah,
things
me
in order
too.
to succeed.
Sarah was kind of getting mad at me where I was got into like a fight where I was like, she was like, "Why are you putting that there? You're not gonna be able to get it out." And I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Oh, I can't wait. I haven't gotten to that one yet. I think I'm coming up. I must be coming up on that one. Or I missed a secret portal.
Yeah, how do we feel about the fact that some of the portals you just have to like search for?
Is there like because I don't mind it if I know I'm missing one. 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't think there's an indicator that says you're missing.
Yeah, I
one.
don't think there is.
I mean, you
either.
when you pull up
Oh.
the like
Level
level
menu.
list and then you can hit like the L or R or something to tab over,
Gotcha.
you can see how many of them you've accessed
Okay.
versus how many are there.
I didn't mind it, but I could totally be missing them. But because once I like, as soon as the world map opened for the first time, I like flew around a little bit,
Mhm.
and it was like, oh, like
Search?
and so then I was like, oh, so I just started doing that as soon as I got to a new land, is just like flying around
Yeah.
and checking everything. But yeah, I have no idea if I've missed them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate what they're doing with it. It's a nice thought. And I don't know if I'd miss it, but I also don't know. Like, I don't mind it. I don't know. I think it's an interesting. Because I like maps that have little hidden things, but
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's like I wanted them to be something a little better or something.
It's
I don't know.
to me, it feels like the complaint I have about the goal games in most Kirby games, which Kirby in the Forgotten Land, no goal games. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't need like a weird little thing like telling me when to press the A button. Like I just don't understand why they're there. But I feel like that's almost the same thing where it's like this has nothing to do with any of the rest of the gameplay. You're just like on the map pushing A in random places to see if you
Yeah.
get some coins or a challenge or something. but I don't know. Was that my first complaint about this game?
So favorite mouthful mode abilities.
Yes.
I think for me the water balloon, like when you like inhale all the
It's
water.
another one we didn't count.
And,
we didn't count that one.
and Kirby's like sloshing around.
Yeah.
I think that one is really, really funny. I also there's something really satisfying to me about the light bulb one because I like the light bulb levels. I think that's like
Yeah,
a
they're
fun,
fun.
like,
They're smart.
mechanic.
Yeah.
I do like the light bulb because I also like I like to go as fast as I can with the light bulb. So it's like, oh, if I turn it off for a long time,
Yeah.
I can go faster. You know?
And then those ghosts won't chase you.
Yeah, exactly. I think my favorite's actually the circle. The circle with that puffs air, you get on a boat and like
Yeah.
push the boat. It feels good, and it just the way it attacks, like it feels more powerful and it feels more satisfying to me than like the cans attacking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I like the circle a lot. Partly I like it because I think Kirby looks the most uncomfortable with it in his mouth. And you also rescue so many Waddle Dees with the circle thing in your mouth, and to see Kirby, who like this thing also will like the inside of it will frequently have like jagged edges or like it's the inside of a gear or something. So you'll see those edges in Kirby's mouth, and he's like doing the little dance with the Waddle Dee, but you can tell he's like, this
struggling.
is painful.
I love that when you rescue a Waddle Dee within a level that Kirby like does his little celebration or like wave
Yeah.
in
It's
the
so
form
funny.
of like the mouthful mode transformation.
But I think for me the winner is the OG, the car.
The car is
is
good.
I
so
forgot about the
rewarding.
car.
There are one of the theme park levels has like two different like car race
Dude,
challenges in them.
yes.
I loved those. I loved it. And this the second one where it's like beat it in under 30 seconds, and
Yeah.
I was like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible. And then like you learn the shortcuts.
Yeah.
You're blowing through cardboard boxes, and like it's I don't know. I would do a whole game that's just
Me too. That was
Kirby
that was
race car.
I agree actually, Patrick. I actually forgot when we were listening about the car, and how could I? Because I agree that those are my favorite challenges for sure.
Those
'Cause
are really fun.
The way the car feels too
It's
like,
good.
It feels so good. Oh my gosh, yeah, I agree with you there. That's good.
All right. What else can we? Oh, bosses. Do we want to talk about bosses that are fun to fight?
Yeah. Well, so you fight a lot of the same like mini bosses a lot.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
see
which
a
is kind of
lot of them.
and they're like regular Kirby style bosses, right?
Is the
The duck.
the duck like ballerina type thing?
Well, maybe not her. She may be a new one.
I'll tell you right now, my least favorite is the duck. I can't
I
stand
hate
fighting
the duck.
the duck.
Anytime
Oh
the
my
duck shows up,
gosh.
boo to the duck. But I really I thought like the first time that Mr. Frosty shows up
Yeah.
and Bonker show up, and you realize that they're like wild variations on them.
Right.
Like wild.
Also, Bonker at 100% a
an
gorilla
ape.
in this. Yeah. Like,
for sure. Also, Wild Frosty, so funny to me.
Yes.
I love this like crazed like rabid walrus thing.
Yeah.
That's going on. It's so funny to me.
and he's got these big like saber-toothed tusks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like those a lot too.
Yeah, I like those guys too. I just think my least favorite is that freaking duck.
Yeah,
I
like
can't
the
stand
ballerina.
tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The other bosses, like Patrick, you mentioned like the cat
Yep.
that is like has this like Catwoman thing going on with like
She's got like a Catwoman thing, but there's also like a circus
Yeah.
sort of
Right,
environment. It's like
uh-huh.
a big top kind of like
I liked
arena.
her intro, like going, and she's just standing in the spotlight, and like, who is this
Yes,
figure?
yeah.
You know, that was really cool.
Oh, and she's got these like Lady Deathstrike claws,
Yeah.
right? That fight is okay.
Yeah.
I like the way the tree fight
Oh,
works.
I love the tree.
The
fight.
tree was super fun, and that like again kind of like classic Kirby boss,
Yeah.
Right, but with a twist.
With a twist. I like when the roots
Yep.
like
Yeah.
shoot through the ground, and then I don't know. It was early enough in the game where when I destroyed the roots and I got like one of the little rewards opened
Yeah.
up, being
Yeah.
like, this was a secret thing in the level, and you're like, yes.
I agree. I think that's actually my favorite so far. Although actually, it was right before I got here. It was the King DDD fight, and that was pretty sick.
That
Yeah,
was
the
pretty
DDD
fun.
fight is
He's like, this is like beast mode King DDD because he is ripped, and he's like, he does half the fight with his hammer, and then he throws his hammer down and picks up a giant beam, like metal beam.
Yep.
and uses
Yeah,
it.
he's
I'm like,
another
oh my
like,
god,
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
awesome. And his intro was sick, and in his, Can I? Yeah, we were talking about.
Yeah, we're
spoilers.
spoiling. Yeah.
You know, like when you're in the victory screen, you pose and you're like dun dun dun,
Yeah.
and then the dude gets up in the background,
Yeah.
walks over, like it's such
Like,
a
he's not
baller
done.
move. Yeah, I loved it. I think that's my favorite fight so far. The Meta Knight fight was also very fun.
Meta Knight, super fun to fight.
Yeah.
Have you guys fought the Matt? You wouldn't have yet, I don't think. But Mark, have you fought the armadillo
Yes.
with the little cage?
The armadillo feels like something out of like a Goofy
Banjo-Kazooie?
movie. Yeah,
Oh.
or like Banjo. Like like it's so goofy and cartoonish. Like
Yes.
it has this like fake dance partner that it
Yep.
like this dummy that it is like tosses at you. It's just it's out there. It's wild.
Yeah, I thought that was a really fun fight.
I thought so too.
And like one where, and this is gonna sound crazy because we're talking about a Kirby game, but one where I had to like learn his attack
Totally.
pattern. Like I had to treat him like he was a boss in a real video
absolutely,
game.
because he does this thing where he like rolls at you, and the timing of the roll, or like when he's spinning, like the timing, because he has this like cage that he's holding, and so he'll do this spin, and you have to learn to like dodge out of the way, or he captures you in it and like shakes you around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a really funny one. Also, the approach to that is really funny because you're like walking through this cave, and there's all these like no Kirby posters everywhere.
Oh my
It's
God,
just
the
really...
no Kirby posters. They're so funny.
I love that you had to like some of the missions are like
Like,
destroy
tear 'em
the
down.
Kirby,
Yeah,
no,
tear
no
'em
Kirby
down.
posters. Yeah.
I like that they're identified as wanted posters.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if that's, are we suggesting that there's like some sort of law enforcement here that like there's a bounty on Kirby's head? I don't think that's what this is.
Something I really do like too, and this is, I think some people might see this as a negative. However, I see this as a positive for games like this, and like I thought it worked really well in Paper Mario and the Origami King, is the variation of Waddle Dee, very much like the variation of the Toad. Yeah, I would like original characters too. I think that's also great, but I don't mind it every now and then. I think it's really funny to be like, oh, I'm the smart Waddle Dee.
Yeah.
And like, oh, let me read you the facts. Or like, oh, I'm the armory Waddle Dee.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and also I love that this Waddle Dee, the armory Waddle Dee, that he's wearing like a little hat and like pull some goggles down and then just uses his bare hands to
Yeah.
forge you new weapons. That's not safe.
I know.
He's got eyewear, but not handwear.
And also the like knowledge Waddle Dee or whatever.
Oh yeah, who's got a little
He's-
graduation
He has
hat?
a little graduation hat, but also like the facts that he's. So when you start.
Oh yeah, this is phenomenal.
When you start
Yeah.
Kirby in the Forgotten Land, you have the option of like giving. They ask you like, do you want to go online? Basically, like, do you want to share information about your like your play history with Nintendo and with others? And I think it's like such a smart, kind of like incentive for Nintendo to collect that data, because what they're doing with it is you meet this Waddle Dee who's like the knowledge
He's so
Waddle
cute.
Dee, and he has like utility in that if you missed a copyability power up, he would tell you. But also he just has like tons of facts about the game, where it's like so far like 5 billion coins have been collected
Right.
worldwide.
Well, he'll say like, you've saved 187 Waddle Dees, and that means that like
Globally.
20 million Waddle Dees have been saved worldwide.
And
Yeah.
he'll give you like 2 little facts, and he's like, "Do you want to learn more?"
Yeah.
And I'm always like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I do."
And always say yeah, because at least the first time, you'll get a trophy.
Yeah,
if
you
it
do get a
enough.
trophy when you talk to him for a while.
Yeah, but I just love the little, because they all have their distinct personalities.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
I love that there are 2 of them that work at the restaurant, and you can tell one of them's in charge.
That's like right. Even like the announcer Waddle Dee at the Coliseum is
Yes.
like, get ready for a showdown. I'm like,
Or
yes.
in the theater, that there's like the one that's working like the
Oh,
ticket
right.
counter inside the movie theater, which like it's so funny. There's no reason to watch any of like the videos a second time, because that's all that's in the theater is just
Yeah.
the videos that the game has already showed you. But you still have to like select it with the guy at the ticket counter and then like walk into the theater and sit down in a seat, and then the movie starts.
It feels very like Disneyland, Main Street
Yes,
USA
yeah.
to me,
Totally.
And there was I don't remember where. Maybe it was the theater. I can't remember where. Maybe I dreamt this, but there was like an area where I looked in and it like showed stuff for each Kirby game.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
that's in the
in
house.
Kirby's house. Yeah.
Oh, it's the book.
It's
It's
the
the
book,
book in his
and
house.
it is so frustrating to me because it shows just the games that are available on Switch and 3DS.
And Wii U.
Oh, and Wii U, which
Yeah.
seems so weird to me.
They missed the most important Kirby game, Kirby Air Ride, which is an incredible game.
And there's no Kirby's Block Ball, so
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
a crime.
So I thought you would like. So you don't unlock more? Because I
No.
Not
like,
that I can tell. It's just exclusively like those.
It's
That's a
one page of
weird
them. Yeah, it's weird.
choice.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna unlock more. Now I'm bummed.
Especially because it seems like it's just like on the verge of being a tiny little Kirby museum, right? Because
Right.
when you hover over the different games, it plays music from those
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And gives like a little description. And
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And it's like, well, why not do this? Why not make this a Kirby museum?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all very strange.
Weird choice.
Then it always have to do one thing.
Yeah, just do
it's
the thing.
almost perfect.
It's almost perfect.
Can I also say I don't really like the fishing games, mini games in games in general, but I like the one in Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Me too. It feels
Yeah.
more like a rhythm game,
Uh-huh.
really.
yeah, exactly. Even the restaurant game,
Yes.
it's like it's kind of hard.
Yeah, on the tough difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I failed out of it a couple times.
Me too.
You know what's great about the Kirby food product is that I'm pretty sure like that burger they literally make that at in Universal.
Oh, do they at Super Nintendo
Oh,
World?
I
pretty
want it so
sure.
Super
bad.
Nintendo Land. whatever it's
I've seen that burger before in real life.
There
with, like
was
the bun.
there was a Kirby Cafe.
Oh,
I
maybe
think
it
it
was
closed
that.
because of the pandemic, but
Yeah.
it might have been a Kirby Cafe.
I mean, it looks so good.
It
I'm sure
does.
it's
It
like
looks really
I'm
good.
sure it's okay, but it looks very good.
I like a bun that has a design on it, right?
Yeah,
Like
come on.
that's good.
Yeah.
I want it.
That cake looks good. I bet
Like
Kirby
the
cake.
mouthful mode, like
Yeah.
the car cake, totally.
It is funny that it's like, here's a hamburger and look how fun this hamburger looks, and like here's a cake and like, wow, that's cool. And then it's like, or a tomato. Like these are the
or
options.
medicine, right?
Or
With the-
yeah, or like
Yeah.
a bottle of tonic or whatever. I don't think any of us have, but did anyone dip into the co-op mode and get that bandana Waddle Dee out there?
No, I
No.
haven't.
No, me neither.
I'm a solo. We're all loners, man. We're all in good relationships, but we always play solo. One player, baby.
Yeah, I know Sarah and I will end up playing together at some point, but I think I gotta finish it on my own first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that because he mentions at some point the bandana Waddle Dee is just like one of the characters in your town, right? And he says like, oh, when you level up your abilities, my spear gets leveled up with it. So like, I want to know what that means. I want to
Yeah.
see like, does he get like electrical powers or like frost powers? What happens there?
Yeah, I also like that the Waddle Dees talk.
Yeah.
Like that they
Oh,
have
yeah.
like more like personality because like this bandana Waddle Dee is like itching to get out there.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he
he's-
wants the action.
I love that you'll find him like all over the town too. He's not just in one spot. Like I saw him on a rooftop, like
Oh yeah.
sunbathing.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
like, hey, if you need me.
It's like I'm just killing time up here, just me and this other Waddle Dee. That's another thing that I think is just incredible. Is as you rescue more Waddle Dees, there are more Waddle Dees like in the town. So like early on, there'll be like a table that's set up outside, and then you'll come back later, and because you've rescued more Waddle Dees, there are like two of them sitting there eating lunch, and you're like, yes, you're having a lovely afternoon.
That's
all
why it's
because I
important.
saved you.
We have to save them all. No
Yeah.
Waddle Dee gets left behind.
That's right. Let's see. Are there any other areas of this game that we want to touch on before we get out of here?
I'm looking at my notes. I don't think I have anything left. I just really, really liked this game.
I can confidently say that this is my favorite Kirby game of all time, and I think it's in my top 10 Switch games.
Whoa!
I really do. I don't know, like it's just a delight. It gives me the same kind of joy that Odyssey gave me. I'm in love with it, and I haven't loved a Kirby game in years. So this is like super refreshing for me. Easily one of the best Kirby games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also I'm digging the length of it. Like I'm pretty near the end. I'm gonna go back and like try to, I don't know 100%, but like I'm gonna get more stuff in it. And it's certainly longer than like Planet Robobot or other Kirby games from recent memory, where it's longer but not like, you know, I don't want to have to sink like 30-40 hours into a Kirby game, you know. And this one I feel like it's sitting comfortably at like 12 to 15 hours.
It's like a good comic set, you know. You want to like get
Yes.
out while
Yeah,
while
that's
you're
right.
while you're on top, you know.
Well, we're still having fun.
yeah.
But I am currently still having fun. I really like this game.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's close out our discussion of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Matt Acevedo, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Every time I come on, it's just an absolute blast to talk with you guys. You guys are my favorite people to talk Nintendo with, like straight up. Every time I try to talk Nintendo with someone else, they'll like pivot to like PlayStation. I'm like, I don't want to talk PlayStation. I want to talk
We're talking about. Well, we love having you on. Matt, is there anything at this point that you would like to plug?
Yeah, guys, check out my podcast. I run. I play a Krogan named Vote Kirk in the Mass Effect Adventum tabletop RPG podcast. If you're looking for a new, tabletop RPG podcast that you don't have to know Mass Effect to listen to it, it's really good. I'm not just tooting my own horn. It's a very good tabletop RPG show. But check that out. And yeah.
It features at least 2 other previous guests of this show, right?
Yeah, Kelly Nugent, who's a newer member, and she's great. Kelly's great.
Kelly rules.
And Emily Rose Jacobson. Yeah. So make sure to check that out.
So great people that have been on this show.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, you can, all the things. Please rate, review, and follow us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify or wherever you get podcasts. If you like the episode, please share it on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you are sharing things. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MK Mitchell. Matt is at
the Matt Acevedo.
And the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.
I'm Brian Husky. I'm bald.
And I'm Charlie Sanders, and I'm also bald. And we host Bald Talk on the Campfire Media Network.
Bald Talk is the podcast where 2 bald comedians talk to anyone bald about being bald.
But this show isn't just for baldies, Brian. Harrows will love it too.
Bald Talk gets into vulnerability, vanity, insecurity, and self-acceptance, reminding us that we all have our respective bald spots. Not that bald spots are a bad thing.
No way. I mean, my entire head is one big bald spot.
It is one huge, beautiful bald spot, Charlie.
Get Bald Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
I mean, I have like a little bit of hair, but not like you. Like, you're really bald.
I'm truly bald.
Great. I mean, it's great.
I'm balder than you.
You are balder than me.
Only on Bald Talk. Campfire.